Yes, that is true. I was there when it all happened. When Will Smith confronted Chris Rock for his infamous joke about the G.I. Jane 2 directed towards Jada Pinkett Smith. Now everybody could feel the tension in that room. Even audience members could feel it. I mean, I remember going on Twitter soon after and just thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be a moment in pop culture that no one will ever forget. I wish I kind of joke about this, and we find ourselves a joke about some of the most gruesome things that happen in our life to help us cope with it. But you know that neuralizer in Back to the Future? I wish we could just all look into that and forget that moment, because that's not what the Oscars are about. That's not what Emmys are about. That's not what these award shows are about. What they're about is people with power paying other people to get the award for their movie that they worked so hard to pay. But that's neither here or there. But I digress. No, as one of the security guards there, and thank God we have security guards at these award shows, because we just never know what can happen, especially after the whole Harvey Weinstein incident, and we just don't know what can be smuggled. But I remember myself as a well-trained AAA rated hitman, and also now retired hitman, I should say. Now I'm a bodyguard. I've put that past behind me. I'm no longer a hitman, but I remember seeing a A-list celebrity. I remember seeing a actor, a rapper, a acting mogul, a one-of-a-kind celebrity who had star power. And I remember thinking to myself, what is he doing? Why is he approaching Chris Rock like he's about to slap him? And that's when my instincts kicked in. Some may say my hitman instincts. I call them my protective instincts as a security guard. I had one task, and my task was to make sure that nothing crazy went on. And I remember I intersected him, and he tried to slap me like this, and that's when I go like this. And let me tell you, Will Smith, he was in that movie Concussion. He almost gave me a concussion. It would have been an honor, but it also would have been embarrassing, and it would have been a stain on my credentials as a hitman and also as a security guard. And I just thought to myself, I can't let this man do this to me, let alone a comedic legend like Chris Rock. Because for as many things as Will Smith is, he is nowhere on the same level as Chris Rock comedically. So, I could feel the clock ticking. I didn't have the go-ahead by the rest of my team. Obviously, I was the leader. Every one of my other crew and security crew was too far away from me for them to intervene. I knew that I was gonna have to take this man down on my own, and I know what could have happened. If had Will Smith laid his hands on Chris Rock, it would have been a completely, totally different story. It would have ruined the show, but I stopped Will Smith from doing something stupid, and till this day I think about what I had to do. I didn't want to do it. I wish I didn't have to. But for the safety of everyone, for the integrity of the Oscars and any other award show, hell, it could have been the Tonys, I would have been there like my life depended on it, because it does. I have a reputation. I am a security guard for people like Madonna, Justin Bieber was for Justin Bieber. Then I decided to leave him because he was too crazy. But at one point I was even a security guard for Michael Jackson until all the allegations came out. I just couldn't protect a man like that. But I've protected so many high-profile celebrities. Even unfortunately, at one point I was forced during my hitman days to protect a scumbag like Vladimir Putin. But I'm so glad that I intervened the way that I did, because it just would have been tragic to see what could have happened. And I had to neutralize the threat, as we say in our field. And not a day goes by where I wish I didn't. I had to self-administer a tranquilizing dart, because obviously he was too close. So what I had to do is I had to manually throw the dart, and I remember throwing that dart just hoping it would hit the right person, and that it wouldn't hit Chris Evans, that it wouldn't hit Robert Downey Jr., or that it wouldn't hit, God forbid, Ryan Reynolds, or any. If it could have hit anyone, it would have been Nicole Kidman, because I hate her movies. But I mean, I'm just so grateful that that tranquilizing dart landed where it landed, and it landed on Will Smith. And he was able to continue his monologue, Chris Rock, and you know, the whole thing just comes full circle, and it turns out that Will Smith, that I stopped him from doing something stupid. Let's just put it that way. And aside from that, Chris Rock was so thankful because, as you could see if you rewatch the footage, he was terrified, he was scared, but I allowed him to finish his jokes. He later came up to me after the show and told me thank you, and you know that without me he wouldn't have been able to finish his monologue. And I said, no worries, man, I'm here to protect you, I'm here to protect everybody else. And you know, he even gave me one of the best compliments. He said, had you been alive during the John F. Kennedy assassination, you probably would have caught that bullet with your hands. And I mean, I don't think he was joking. We are now best friends. He comes over to dinner sometimes. He invites me to his house, and we just do drugs and we have fun. And on that night, I might have, you know, they say don't meet your heroes. And as sad as I am that Will Smith is no longer the man that I thought he was, I made a new friend, Chris Rock. And if you ask me, that rocks.